Good morning, folks. As you can see by the weather, it's absolutely teeming down. It's been heavy rainfall throughout the night. So a very wet start. It's going on about 7 o'clock this morning, and we're here to do a long distance trail, one that's probably not so well known. I see it as a companion trail to the much better known Lairig Ghru trail. So this one is called, forgive my pronunciation, Lairig and Laoigh, right? This trail takes probably up to 8 to 10 hours in good weather conditions, which we certainly do not have today. And it's roughly just over the 19 miles mark. And this will take us all the way from the Glenmore car park that we're at the moment, which is just outside Glenmore, all the way down to the Linn of Dee. So without further ado, we'll make a start on the trail and we'll talk a little bit more about it as we go along. We've got some forest walking to do through some nice Scotch pine, and that will shelter us hopefully a little bit from the rain. Anyway, we'll catch up in a wee bit. So as we come out the Glenmore car park, we're following the path along. We just came over that small bridge there, and as you can see the river was certainly quite in spate, which might prove a little bit challenging for us later on, as we do have a reasonably major ford to cross. But what we'll be looking for as our first major sort of way marker on the route to start with will be this small Lochan here. I'm going to try and pronounce it An Lochan Uaine, and hopefully that's correct. If not, I'm sure I'll be corrected in the comments. Anyway, let's get moving. We've got plenty of miles that we need to get done. Yeah, so I just came across that small ford there. A lot deeper than it looks, so I'm just using obviously the larger stones to cross it. So I thought I'd have we're going through one of the wee quieter sections of the forest, do a little bit of catch up since my last video. Now I was on, what did I do? I done Mount Cairngorms and Bynack More. And the plan was to do the Cairngorms and Bynack traverse. So the next day I headed out, making my way towards the Shalomane Gap, and I met a couple of walkers who are coming back from that sort of section, turned back because of the wind, and the wind was starting to pick up at that point. But I thought, I'll brave it, I'll carry on, see how far I can get, because everyone's got their own sort of limits to how far they're willing to push themselves and what they deem as safe. Yeah, on the way to the Shalomane Gap, I had about an 18 kilo backpack on, and I was literally getting thrown to the ground, even using the poles for support. So at that point it was a no-brainer. Had to call a stop to it. Made my way back to the camp. The wind hit the camp in Glenmore later that night. You wouldn't believe it at first, because getting back to the camp it was nice sunshine, there was no wind. So just decided to just have a lazy day. Originally that was going to be a 2-day trek. A bit disappointing that I didn't get it done, but as always, the mountains aren't going anywhere. You can always come back and do it when it's safer. So I had a lazy day in camp, and the next again day I went up into the hills again, and this time I've done 4 corbets which just lie north of Loch More. That was a really nice walk. So yeah, I mean it wasn't what was planned, but it was still something good to do. However, last night I was staying in Glenmore camp again, and you had one of these, it was almost dead. There was hardly any other tents pitched up, large area that you could use, and a large, well, probably about half a dozen lads being a bit rowdy up into the early hours of the morning, drinking, doing God knows what. So you can imagine it was kind of a restless sleep last night, and likewise had to be up early and the wet start. So not the best of conditions, and likewise when it's all this sort of rain, it's not ideal for filming, but I will do my best and try and remain upbeat for you, and we'll just take it as it goes. Anyway, we'll catch up near the Lochan. So you're in here for a little bit of a treat. We've just come off the path, and you'll find this wee stairwell, well I wouldn't call it stairwell, a wee path with stairs leading down to the Lochan. Now the loch's quite well known for obviously its colour. So this wonderful sort of almost like a turquoise I suppose, or emerald green, call it as you wish. So I thought I'll let you have a wee look. And there are some really nice areas that you can get sat around here, and likewise if you want to pitch up your tent as well. So this is a good location, especially if you're starting the trail later on in the day. So this is our first sign for Lairig and Laoigh, also a sign heading towards Braemar. If I was to go along the other path just behind me, that would take us into the Abernethy estate. Now this is an option for you if you're starting the trail perhaps later on in the day. There is a bothy 2 minutes walk up that trail. So that's another option for you if you're not wanting to camp down by that small Lochan. So I'm going to get myself a few minutes break here. I have walked obviously this section before, heading up towards Nephi Bridge, but obviously heading along the path this way, this is a new frontier for me. I was just speaking to a couple of young lads who have just done the trail over 2 days, who have also done the Lairig Ghru, and they've paired the 2 trails up, which is exactly the same as what I intend to do. But obviously I'm going to have to get a push on, because I'm trying to do it in 1 day. So a bit of a challenge to set myself, but we'll see how we go. So we're just by the River Nephi, and you have this small bridge that you can cross here. Now I was thinking to myself, I mean obviously it's been quite heavily waterlogged, but the grass area just behind me normally would probably be quite dry, and even now there's actually some patches that you could actually get your tent pitched up, and likewise you're right by the river source, so not a bad wee place. So actually I imagine it'll be a lot better during the summer months. So we've not long left that small bridge going over the River Nephi. Now just as you go past that, going along the river's edge, there's quite nice sandbanks and some small wee paths that can lead down to it. Now we're probably going on to our first proper ascent now, as we go into this sort of singular path. As we head towards, well we'll be skirting round Deeside of a Munro, and I believe it's pronounced Bynack More. If it's wrong, I'm sure, yeah, again, I'll be correct. I think moving forward on the Walking Highland page, they actually do have a wee audio clip that plays with a pronunciation guide for all the different areas. So I'm going to think I will try and include that in future videos. Anyway, going to move on. I would say you certainly get this feeling of isolation here because you're not seeing anyone on this trail, which is, for me, that's actually quite a big appeal. Anyway, we'll catch up in a little bit. So this cairnstone marks a sort of mile point for me. If we went up to our left, that would take us up towards the Munro, Bynack More, and to the right, obviously we'll carry along this path along the plateau. The ground's levelled out, at least for the time being. I do believe there is a bit of more of a rise to go. We're not at the highest point yet. The climb up was, yeah, it was just a steady incline and pretty much in a straight line. So you're actually hoping for a little bit of variety. The air's been quite heavy, so it has been a little bit more taxing than normal. On a good day, if I had a lighter weight with me, I think I might have actually attempted to do the Munro and link back up with this path. But as I'm carrying all my winter gear, the weight's a lot heavier, so this is something I can come back to again. And I might use, as we've seen earlier on, at the River Neffy, use that as a wee base camp. Anyway guys, we'll catch up a little bit further along the trail once I've had a break and get my head back in gear. So I've just come down from the hillside and you can see this is actually the path. This is roughly actually where you probably normally cross, get to the other side, and you can see that this is this small stream here is definitely in spate and it's far too deep. I mean, you'd be wading right up to your waist trying to get across it. So I'm going to try and find somewhere a little bit further upstream and then cross and double back onto the path. So we're still skirting around the side of the Munro. On the plateau itself, very boggy underfoot. I think it was graded as a 3, but obviously with the overnight rain, yeah, it's had an upgrade. And I did manage to get across that stream. I ended up taking a leap of faith, and I certainly did not land gracefully like a swan, especially with the backpack on. But there doesn't really seem to be much other alternatives. It's generally quite wide in both directions. Anyway, we'll move on to the River Avon ford, and hopefully the weather might improve a little bit, because at the moment I'm certainly not being able to show you too much, which is a shame. Anyway, let's catch up in a wee bit. So just before we head down to the River Avon at the ford there, you'll see the storm shelter here, and you can see how it's been reinforced with stone around it. It's maintained by the Mountain Buffet Association. I'm just going to have a wee look inside it. I'm not expecting it to be like the Ritz, but it'll actually do for the time being for me to stop and get some lunch before contemplating how I'm going to cross this river. And it certainly looks nice and warm in there. Great. Be in place to hang up my coat. So as you can see, the river's definitely in spate. What I'm going to do is, there is going to be a strong undercurrent with this river, that's for sure, but this looks to be the best point to cross. So I'm going to just put the action cam in the holder and cross it and see how we get on. I'm certainly not doing a second retake of this one. So we've successfully got across the ford and I don't think there was any way avoiding getting wet socks and wet boots with that one. Yeah, quite a strong undercurrent trying to pull you there. So it's quite deceptive. I mean, I've been across probably wider and probably in some cases more dangerous rivers than that, but none of them should be taken lightly. The plan was to get here around about midday, and since I've had my break it's just going after 12:30, so at least our timings are quite good. Eventually we will start to get onto a really good track and I can make up a lot more time along those sections. But I think, oh well, knock on wood, I like to say that the worst of it's behind us, but we shall see. Anyway, we'll carry on. So it's not too long since we left the ford. There is another small sort of stream that you need to cross, but that one obviously wasn't so bad. Now as we go through this small glen section, on either side there's two massive Munros, because at the end of the day that's right in the heart of that territory for Munros. I can't mind the names off by hand without going back and checking the map, and like the Laoigh, I probably couldn't pronounce them anyway, but I will leave them down on the screen below. There's one thing to say is, it is a lot warmer now and the path is not as boggy, and the sun is trying to break through, so there might be a light at the end of the tunnel. And on the plus point, even though you might have wet socks and wet boots, it can't get any worse. So there you are. Anyway, we shall move on. So we're on the approach to Derry, and yet again we've got this another sort of burn to cross. I've already looked up that, and it is the sections where you could probably get across is very deep, and that current will just pull you down. So I'm going to try a little bit further down and see if I can find a better crossing. So I managed to get across. Just went a little bit further down from where you last seen me, and I was able to, just get across the stones as best I could. Obviously, yeah, again, still getting wet feet, and there was a little bit of scramble up the side and a wee bit of heather bashing to get back on track. But yeah, I think that was about the safest way I could do it. There didn't seem to be any other real options. Anyway, we shall move on and we'll catch up in a wee bit. So I've just arrived at another sort of Y junction. If I was to go straight forward along this path, you'll see the small walkway bridge there, leads you over sort of the Derry burn. That is going to be the more direct route to get to Derry Lodge, and it'll probably save you a bit of time. But the official trail route takes us up the hill path, which I'm just going to go up now. It's meant to be far more scenic. So what we're going to do, we're going to move along and we'll catch up again towards Derry Lodge. So we've just arrived at Derry Lodge. The sun's came out for the last couple of hours of the day. It's nice to get some heat on me. Coming through that last section, yeah, that was really nice. Plenty of bird life. When you get to where we are now, if you're trying to get your tent pitched up, you're literally spoilt for choice. You could probably get about 20 tents pitched up in this area. There's so many different patches down by the riverside. And on a separate note, you also get a phone signal. So if you're acquiring that, that's not so bad. Now, the lodge behind me has been abandoned for some time, and I've no idea if there's ever any intention to renovate it again, to put it back into use. But that's a question for another day. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to head along the path. It shouldn't be too long to get to the Lairig car park now. It's going on just before 4 o'clock, so timing's been good. And then when I'm going along that path, I'll either try and find a pitch site near, obviously, the car park, or I might have to double back up the track and find something else. But we'll see what's ahead of us. Anyway, shouldn't be too far to go now. So we've just arrived at the Lairig car park. It's just going after 5 o'clock. So in total it's taken me 10 hours. Considering the weather conditions and the heavier winter pack that I've got on, it's actually been not too bad going. So what I need to now try and do is look for somewhere to get pitched. There are some trails around here, which obviously go down by the riverside, so I'm hoping I get lucky and I can find something just off one of them paths. Other than that, if I don't catch up with you towards the end of the video with me pitched up, thank you for watching this far, and if you liked what you've seen, by all means leave a like and possibly even leave a subscribe. It certainly helps a small channel like myself get off the starting block. And if you want to tune in again for the second part of this walk, we will be doing the Lairig Ghru tomorrow, which will be a slightly longer walk, so hopefully we'll be making a slightly earlier start. But until then, all the best, and I hope you enjoy your own adventures.